Hey guys, how's it going? Asia Collections here, and today we're looking at another KO action figure review. This time we've got the KO Mafex Michael Jordan action figure. Now, I'm not the biggest Michael Jordan fan, so I don't know much about the Jordan brand shoes, so I apologize if I get the shoes wrong in this video, but I'll try to showcase this figure as best as possible. And I have an authentic version of LeBron James from Mafex ordered, so hopefully he'll come in soon. And I've got a few other KO Interbay figures, so they're the bigger 1/9 scale ones. So if you want a review of either LeBron James or any of the other Interbay figures, I've got Kobe and LeBron, both from the Lakers. If you want those, please let me know, and then I can work on a video on those. But at this point in time, I'm just going to work on this Michael Jordan video, and hopefully you like this video. So before we go any further, I would love if you could subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And if you like this video, please hit that like button. If you have anything to let me know, please put it in the comment section below, and let's get into it. So first things first, I got this action figure off of Aliexpress, like I usually do. And I got him for about 35 bucks. So I'm just looking at the packaging as well. That's Mafex number 100. No seal or of authenticity there. Nothing much on the packaging. It's just basic. The back looks pretty vibrant, and the Michael Jordan head on that looks so much better. You'll see in a while. The top just says Michael Jordan. Mafex number 100. Michael Jordan on the side with a cool picture of Michael Jordan. And a cool picture of Michael Jordan dunking on the other side. So pretty cool box. Yeah, nothing too impressive, but they've copied the box pretty closely to what Mafex would have done. So here we have MJ out of the packaging, and I've tried to pose him up to look as good as possible, but this figure honestly sucks. So well, there's a few redeeming qualities, but it's still not the best, and the stand that it comes with is absolutely horrible. Michael Jordan fell down like quite a bunch of times before I got him into this pose, but I've tried to put him into that dunking pose that he's known for, so well, at least it does that alright. He does look a little bit weird, but it's, I guess, there's a lot of things going on that's not right with the figure, so we'll get into that with the close-ups. So here we have MJ out of the packaging with everything that he comes with. He basically comes with 3 pairs of shoes, and they're pretty nice shoes. I like the red and the black one in specific. I don't know the numbers, so I'm really sorry. I don't know what number shoes they are, but basically all 3 pairs are pretty awesome looking. They're sculpted really well. I'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah, it's Michael Jordan shoes, so they're pretty iconic. He comes with a bunch of extra hands. We'll get into that later as well. He comes with a head that from this angle kind of looks like Dennis Rodman. He comes with 2 basketballs, one with a peg hole in it and the other one without a peg hole in it, which basically works out with the hands. And he comes with the action figure stand, and obviously the figure himself, and we'll get into more details on the figure. For this segment, I've posed him up so that he looks like he's going to do an in between the legs dribble so that he can attack the defender, just so it looks a little bit cool. He's also got new shoes on. I've changed it in between segments. I just changed the shoes because I wanted to see how easy or how difficult it was going to be, because the KO figure, usually they have more issues with breakages and flimsiness and stuff like that. So I'm pleased to say that the shoes were really easy to change over, no issues or no worries about breaking anything. So it was pretty easy, pretty straightforward, pretty pleasant. Alright, so let's get into the close-ups. So first of all, let's take a look at the head. And the head just looks like the crying meme, and it's not even the Michael Jordan crying meme. I mean, like, if it resembled the Michael Jordan crying meme, at least it would resemble Michael Jordan, but it's like the other guy that's crying. And I'll put a picture right next to him so you can see what that looks like, but that looks so terrible. The painting's bad, the eyes look like they're lifeless and basically just plopped on, like the irises aren't even central. And I'm looking at it through my camera at the moment because yeah, it's just a lot more zoomed in, and man, that looks horrible. Okay, that aside, paints are pretty bad. I mean, like, where there is paint, everything else is basically just like skin tone plastics, so that's alright. But the jersey is very bad. Like, it shows up really vibrant because of my camera, but in reality it's a lot less vibrant, a lot more dull. Yeah, the Bulls, it looks like some kid drew it on. It doesn't even look that crisp. The NBA logo is basically half gone. Yeah, the jersey, it's, so what I feel like they've done is basically they've taken white fabric, as you can see on the inside here. So it's basically white fabric with sublimation printing done on top, and it looks cheapy, like, no, it doesn't look really nice. Like I think the authentic figure, it's stamped on like decals, whereas this one is just printed on, so it does look a little bit weird. I mean, the fabric for what it is not that bad. And the Bulls logo, yeah, you can barely see that it's on there. The pants look a little bit weird, they look puffy, they don't sit right on the figure. The elbow pad is the same, like it's basically just white fabric that's got sublimation black paints over it, and then it's not even elastic, they've basically just stuck it on. This hand already feels loose, so I'm worried that it's just gonna fall off, so I'm just gonna push that back in. This knee band or this calf band is so bad. It's bad in terms of quality of fabrics because it doesn't stretch, and it basically looks a little bit too big for Michael, and yeah, it's not that good. It's pretty bad. The boots, on the other hand, these look pretty fly. Like the painting on them is pretty bad, but then, you know, like if you paint it right, it's gonna look pretty good. So that's why that's like a redeeming quality. But then that's about it, I guess. Everything else is pretty weird. The joints are Mafex typical joints, so they look alright. I'll undress the figure later on just so that we can inspect the body inside. But yeah, it's not the best figure, it's pretty weird. Alright, so in between takes, I just tried to swap over the hands and the head so that you guys know exactly how easy or difficult it is. And I'm pleased to announce that the head was really easy to switch over. Didn't feel like it was gonna break. The pegs just pop off and on really nicely, so it was a good feeling. Hands, similar thing. The hands don't have any pop to it, but it basically just pressure fits in, and it's pretty snug in there, and it's holding on to the ball very well as well, so no issues there. All right, so now let's get into the articulation. So let's have Jordan closer up. So this head, I'll review that a little bit later, but it looks a little bit better. It doesn't look like somebody else is crying. The eyes are completely terrible. So one of the eyes is looking up and the other one's looking straight forward. So, well, that's another talent that we didn't know Michael Jordan had. If you look at the head, it can go up that much with the neck, so that's pretty decent. I mean, like, let me get the ball out of the hand. So if you do that without the back, it's all right. It can look up that much, it can look forward and down that much, so you can basically tuck the chin, no issues there. He can raise his arms that much, and that feels so flimsy, man. Like, yeah, he's got a butterfly joint in there as well, but it doesn't well, it does move around, but I don't know, it feels really crappy, like really flimsy, like it's gonna break, so I'm really worried to move it around. The biceps can go round and round, and this feels like it's almost ready to pop out. There's a double joint in the elbow. I'll show it on the other hand, which will be a little bit easier to see, and it's not that bad. I mean, it's got a good range of motion to it. The wrists can go forward and back, and if you configure it sideways, you can go side to side. Nothing else in the hand area. The torso can crunch forward that much, just the upper torso, so just the diaphragm joint, and can go back that much. So, whoa, that's basically come off. Let me pop that back in if I can. Yeah, it's back in. So it can go back that much, go forward that much. With the waist joint, which is stuck, it can't go forward or back that much, just the waist joint. So if you see that, I'm trying my best, but doesn't move that much. So I guess that's that. It does rotate around a little bit, so that's something, I guess. The legs can split that much. If I force that any further, I feel like I might break it. The legs can go forward that much, so okay range of motion. Double knees, pretty crunchy, but there's an unsightly like gap up top here, and it just looks weird here. But I'm not sure if that's Mafex, because I don't have the other Mafex Jordan figure, so I don't know if it's Mafex or if it's just this KO figure. The boots can pretty much go up and down pretty well, and they can pivot and go round and round. So all in all, not bad articulation, just feels like it's gonna break, and I have a lot of issues trying to stand him up, especially because if you look at this, didn't do it then, but if I pose him a little bit like in an action pose, his legs just flop into like a closer position. So just doing that, see, so it's really difficult to pose. And if you're posing him somewhere else and putting him on like a different location once you've posed him, that's going to be really difficult. So be careful. All right, so next let's look at the accessories. We'll start off with the shoes, and by the power of the internet, I am happy to announce that I now know what these shoes are. So the one on the extreme left here are the Air Jordan 1s, which were from 1984. So yeah, they look pretty cool. That's a really good design. They look, I think if they were painted better, they would look really nice. They've got like the whole seam lines going across where they were sculpted. But yeah, if you look at the bottoms here, they look pretty nice, and they've got the Nike logo in there as well. So that's a pretty nice shoe, man. Like in terms of quality, the paint is definitely not there. But if you look at just the shoes, and I mean they're very identifiable and reasonably well done. So that's a big plus. So that's the Air Jordan 1s, pretty cool shoes. So next we've got the Air Jordan 6s in the all black colorway, so all black with hints of red, I guess. But these are again really cool shoes. The details, man, like the details that Mafex put in these figures and the details that whoever in China ripped off, these are amazing details. So definitely a big plus for Mafex. And I guess one of the reasons why it's like so inflated in price, I think it's like 180 AUD for like a retail price figure. So that's why I wasn't able to get him. Actually, I did manage to get a LeBron, but yeah, I wasn't able to get a Jordan. So yeah, these shoes are pretty good because there's so less painted details. Like it just looks a little bit better because it looks more clean, and the details on there is just amazing. So Air Jordan 6s from Air Jordan 6s from 1990. Alright, so last but not least, we've got the Air Jordan 9s, and these are from 1993. So that's a pretty good, I mean, in terms of color, it's pretty good. There's not much paint, so that's probably why, but they look really clean, very fresh. The Jumpman logo looks pretty cool. And yeah, both the shoes look alright. I mean, there's seam lines and lines from like the molded plastic, which isn't the best, but I mean, from a distance, they're not really visible. And yeah, these shoes are very, very nice. Even the bottoms, they're really, really nicely sculpted. So that's a definite plus to Mafex again. And they're pretty amazing. So I like them. I like all three shoes. So in terms of heads, we get these two heads, and I've already told you how disappointed I am with them. But basically one of them looks like one of the crying memes, and the other one looks like he's looking at two different directions at the same time. So probably a superpower, but it is what it is. Yeah, from the side profile, he doesn't look that bad. Like he almost looks like Michael Jordan, like the Michael Jordan crying meme, not like Michael Jordan himself. But yeah, it's well, it's still pretty, I don't know, it's just a horribly painted head sculpt. Luckily I did get one of Action Figure Customs head sculpts, so it's on its way. But because of the whole shipping thing that's happening during the pandemic, I might not receive him for maybe a couple more weeks, and I've ordered him like a couple weeks ago, so hopefully he gets here in time. But yeah, the heads are what they are. They're not very Michael Jordan like, but I guess they get some kind of job done. So replacing them will probably be the best thing I can do, and I don't even think a repaint would help because they're just molded in really weird, like they've got really weird distortions basically. So here we have all of Michael Jordan's hands, even the ones that came on the figure. So we'll start off with the two fist hands. So they're basically just fist hands and nothing really special. They've got okay skin color, and they've got some blemishes here and there, and the plastic is like there's extra plastic bits here and there, but it's alright, it is what it is. Next up, we've got the pointing hands. So they both look alright. They look like they're pointing. They've got a lot of plastic faults like blemishes and whatnot, but overall they're alright. They've got a lot of like holy kind of things like dents. I don't know what that is, but it's probably plastic deformity when they recast the Mafex hands. Next up, we've got the kung fu like hands. I don't know what they're for. I mean, they really look like they're like martial art hands and not basketball hands, but you basically get these as well. Oh, maybe they're there to hold on to the rim. I don't know how I didn't see that before, but yeah, they're basically so that you can hold on to the rim. And if I had a rim, that would probably work out good, but I don't have rims, so they basically are weird. But yeah. Next, we've got the relaxed hands that come on the figure, and they're pretty alright. I mean, you could ask for a pass or something like that, and they're alright. The nails, yeah, all of them have nail details, but they're not painted differently, so they just don't stand out as much. And there's a lot of plastic falls and extra plastic bits here and there, but that's what they look like. Next, we've got the ball holding hands, but without the pegs, and they look pretty decent. I mean, they hold on to the balls pretty well, but they don't stick to it. But basically, you could, yeah, basically put it like that, and then it just grasps the whole thing. But yeah, that's pretty alright. And they've got, like all the other hands, faults and blemishes. And lastly, we've got the pegged hands. So that's what they look like. They've got huge pegs right at the middle of the hand, but that's so that they can hold on to the balls, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, nothing else apart from that. Same issues with the blemishes and all that. So we do also have two identical basketballs, and that's what they look like. They're pretty identical, other than the fact that one has a hole in it. So they're both Spalding balls, and they look pretty alright. I mean, yeah, official game ball as well, it says. So yeah, the printing on it isn't straight, but it is what it is. I mean, they're pretty okay. And with the pegged one, you basically take the hand and you peg the basketball right in. So that's how it works. Bonus content for those of you who watch my video for this kind of stuff. I've basically taken off Michael Jordan's clothing, and yeah, like I was saying, it's basically just all white inside, and it's sublimation painted. So sublimation printing, and they've basically just ironed it on or printed it onto the fabric, and that's why the quality is not that good, and you can barely make out, like the bow or the NBA logo is half gone. There's like different problems with it, but I mean, in terms of being like a $35 figure, it's, I guess, okay. But yeah, there's not much detail to it. So if I could, I would definitely replace the jersey, but I don't have the fabric for it just as yet. So maybe in the future I might replace it, but yeah. And they're not that stiff, but they still like, yeah, so they're a little bit stiff, but then it's probably just the scale of it. Fabric this small doesn't usually fold right, so that's probably what it is. And the printing again is terrible, and this is the thing that let me down the most. Like, I thought there was going to be some stretch to it. There's absolutely no stretch, so just replacing this and this would probably be like really quick and easy wins. So I'll try to do that, and I'll show you results at the end of the video. Alright, so again, for those of you who watch my video for this type of content, here we have Michael Jordan, or crying meme guy, without his clothes. And the body is pretty good looking, like in terms of just the aesthetics of it. It does look like a basketball player, especially it does look like Michael Jordan. He probably was a little bit more muscular, but it is what it is. I mean, for the aesthetics and the clothes to work on the figure, they probably made it work like this. So it does look pretty nice. And another good thing that I found out because I undressed him is that he's got drop hinge legs, so that's pretty cool. But then other than that, you can see how this is so awkward because there's just too many joints and they're all really flimsy, so it's really awkward when he stands. Like, there's a different body part shooting different ways. That doesn't really anatomically work, but it's what you get when you have a KO figure, so I guess that's the best they could have done. So yeah, it does look a little bit weird, but that's what it looks like. So here, to the best of my abilities, I've tried to recreate the Jumpman Jordan pose, but this figure doesn't really help with posing all that well because the joints are so loose. I think some joint oil to like stiffen it up a little bit might help and make this figure go a long way. But I just wanted to point out a couple key things that I did to the figure just after the previous cut. I've given him a new wristband or a new sweatband around his arm. This was the previous one. It looked pretty bad and it was white inside, so I've given him like an all black one there. And I've also replaced the leg band, which was that before, which is horrible white on the inside, to that here. I'll basically work on like the red accent later on, but this is the best I can do in like what the 20 minutes I spent on it. So that's just a quick update. And also the shirt or the jersey is sitting a lot more flush on the figure because basically at the crotch here I've stitched together the back and the front side of the jersey so that it pulls it in a little bit and it makes it sit a lot more flush on the figure. So hopefully that makes the figure look a little bit better. I'm just waiting for that new head from Action Figure Customs and it will just take this figure hopefully to the next level. And if I can get some chalk oil or the joint oil, that will make this figure a lot more posable as well. So we finally made it to the height comparison section of this video, and we're basically going to take this Michael Jordan action figure and compare it next to a whole bunch of action figures. So here's Michael Jordan next to the Mafex Authentic Hush Superman, and I really love that Michael Jordan is so much taller than Superman, just because Michael Jordan is like a 6'6" person in real life. That really works out. Superman looks a lot smaller, so that is really nice, and I love that height comparison between these two figures. My Mezco style custom Justice League Ben Affleck Batman action figure, my custom Mattel Multiverse DKR style Batman action figure, the Mafex Dark Knight Returns Batman, SH Figure Arts Marvel Infinity War Iron Spider, Marvel Legends Black Panther, the DC McFarlane Multiverse Flashpoint Batman, and finally the Aliexpress KO 1/9 scale LeBron James action figure. So after messing around a bunch with this figure, changing its hands, heads and boots, undressing and dressing the figure, and also customizing the figure to make it look a bit better, I finally come to a conclusion. Well, you should get the figure if you want a cheap alternative and to an already expensive and really hard to find Mafex action figure, if you only collect the 1/12 scale, or if you want to get 3 amazing sneakers that come with this figure at a reasonably low cost. Other than that, there's nothing much that this figure offers. You should not get this figure for the lack of quality in paints, soft goods, and even the sturdiness of the joints when you articulate this figure. It feels really flimsy and it feels like it's gonna fall apart, and it's not that aesthetically pleasing either, so you might want to stay away. In my honest opinion, if you want a great Michael Jordan action figure, you should stick to Mafex or the official Enter Bay figures. You'll get quality, you'll get good likeness, you'll get great painting, you'll get great accessories. That's the best way to go. If you want an inexpensive Michael Jordan action figure and you don't mind the moral gray area of supporting KO figures, you might want to try the Aliexpress Enter Bay figures. I find them to be a lot better than the Mafex ones, especially with the KOs. They have a lot of good posability, sturdiness, and the figures are, well, they're decently painted, so that's definitely a little bit of a step up than this. And they cost about 60 to 70 Australian dollars, which might be around 40-45 US dollars. And I just want to say that I do not support buying KO figures. I support the actual creators. I could not get this Jordan from Mafex, that's why I had to resort to getting an AliExpress figure. And I also wanted to bring this figure to you guys so I can make informative videos on YouTube. And with that being said, this is the first time I'm rating a figure. I rate this figure a 25 out of 100, which is pretty poor in my opinion. There's a lot of things I did to make it look a little bit better, and it still doesn't look good, so that's saying a lot. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy the content that I bring in my videos. I hope to see you next time on Azrak Collections.